Ba-doom.
Oh, hi. Welcome to the Game Scientist. In our episode of the Skyrim main quest, we've just made a great deal of progress. Right now, we're just here. It's been a while since I did the last episode, so I have to kind of actually like observe where I'm at here in the main quest. But we're making much progress here. There's actually only two more parts after this. For the whole finish of the whole main quest to be finished. Kind of had a dragon yelling overhead. Not really seeing anything. Yeah, he appears to be off in the distance over there, over by that high peak over there. He's not really affecting anything. So,
It's no secret the Aretino boys
we're
doing
going to
some
see where
ritual
we go
to
next.
cool the Dark
So
Brotherhood.
far, this playthrough
Who's
that I
going to
did
stop
was
it?
it's very systematic
Report.
and it really worked out well. And
You come here where you're not wanted. You eat our food, you pollute our
there's a
city,
bit of
and
silence
you
right
use
here.
them to destroy
Mostly a lot of dead air because I'm trying to figure what I'm trying because I already played this and recorded this. I'm trying not to say things that are meant for the future.
Everyone says
There
fur
is a
and gray
point I will
noise.
tell you
Looking
that
to
I
protect
decided,
yourself
I wasn't
or
going to
deal
just
some
be level
damage?
one the whole time. I was actually going to, off air, I decided I was going to actually do some work on my character and make them, fairly powerful, but I didn't want to do all this grinding recording that. I wanted to just focus on the quest for the actual recorded segments. So yeah, there's a point here where I'm just trying to figure out what I'm doing because like there is a point where things progress really quickly, but right as of right now, I'm not sure if that's part 5 or that's this part or uh, just kind of playing wait and see. So there's a lot of silence. It's just me trying to figure out, what's
Whether
going
I'm in
on,
need
what
or
did
you
I do?
play,
Because a lot of times,
come
like
see me.
when I do these commentaries, I only do it like once a week, so I usually lose like all memory of, especially when like last episode was like 2 hours long. So this is going to be another 2 hour episode. So the same thing will happen next week when I work on the next part. I'll end up having
I've been a
to
bit out of
like
sorts and
just have to watch
something off.
in the beginning to see where I'm at because you know I could actually be talking in the future about something, when actually this part is not even there yet. So you know how it is. I'm assuming I'm heading towards the College of Winterhold. That now my memory is serving me right, because I keep having the peace conference in my head, and it's like, no, that shouldn't be there yet. You should be. You got to get that Elder Scroll first. So I'm assuming
It's not that
that's what's
simple.
coming up
Those
here.
that
It's
want
me
Skyrim
trying
for
to
the
go through
lords
all that
doesn't trust
as
what he
best as I
calls
can.
outsiders.
You've seen how we live. Cramped alleys, rundown buildings, few guard patrols. Even the name Grey Quarter is an insult.
I'll speak to Ulfric soon, but I make no promises that I can change his mind.
That's all I ask. With your help, we have a chance to make a better life for ourselves here. For that, I thank you.
There's no glory in war.
Let me know if you see anything you like.
So at
They
one
call
point
me
I
a war
came
hero.
with a flawed
I'm no
idea
hero,
because
just
it
a
worked in
soldier.
All my
Starfield,
goods are
but
legitimate, which is
don't
more
do
than
it
I
in
can
this.
say for
It doesn't
some.
work. I'm sorry. is if
Oh,
you think you're
a bit
going to
of
raise
this and a bit of that.
speech by buying all the cheap items and then selling them back, and it'll get the skill up a little bit, but you're just gonna end up broke, and then you're gonna have to be struggling for money for most of the game, because there's a certain point where it's kind of like, like I have to kind of like, because if I want to do the expansions, then that's kind of like my goal is like, after the Civil War story to do the expansions. Well, I need to have enough money to do the home, the first expansion, which was the home, um, the special, like the Falk Reef home, the home outside of
Do come again.
White Run and stuff. I think you need like 7,000 gold, so I'm trying to kind of keep in my head, that, because I don't want to have to grind for that, and it's things to think about. But yeah, that works in Starfield. Um, you could just literally pick up every tiny little item within a laboratory and just like sell it
Take you to any
for
of the Hold
nothing, and
capitals.
you just like immediately like will
Where do you want to
master
go?
commerce because of that. That does not work here. That does not work here because the prices are so out of
Climb and back, and we'll be off.
insanely out, like imbalanced. You'll just end up broke.
Little snow
You'll end
on
up
me.
broke
Don't
because
worry.
they don't. I mean, you might be able to level up speech just enough so you can get some better prices, which I tried to do here, but it just did not work out.
And you'd have me do what? Join the college and rants about casting spells all day?
Don't just walk away from me. Where do you think you're going?
To the inn for a drink, of course. Where else could I even go in this gods?
What is it?
And what? You think that'll solve all your problems?
Probably not. It's worth a try.
Cross the bridge at your own peril. The way is dangerous, and the gate will not open. You shall not gain entry. Oh, forgive me. Most who arrive here do so because they have heard of the college beforehand. This is the College of Winterhold, a safe haven for mages in Skyrim, a place of wisdom and arcane knowledge. I am here to assist those seeking the wisdom of the college. And if, in the process, my presence helps to deter those who might seek to do harm, so be it. The more important question is, why are you here? Perhaps, but what is it you expect to find within? Do you? It is true, there are some here who have spent years studying the accumulated knowledge of the scrolls. But what you seek does not come easily, and can destroy those without a strong will. It would seem that the college has what you seek. The question now is, what can you offer the college? Not just anyone is allowed inside. Those wishing to enter must show some degree of skill with magic. A small test, if you will. Dragonborn? It's been so long since we've had any contact with the Greybeards. Do you really have the voice? I would be most impressed to see that. How did you do that? So the stories are true. You are Dragonborn. Normally, you'd need to show some aptitude with one of the schools of magic. But you... I think there is much that we can learn from each other. I think you'll be a superb addition to the college. Welcome, apprentice. I'll lead you across the bridge. Once you're inside, you'll want to speak with Mirabelle Irvine, our master wizard. Please, follow me.
Good. Glad we straightened that out.
Now, with this section, I am just, I'm not deep diving into the Mages Guild. This is part of the main quest storyline to find out information about the Elder Scroll. I will simply go to the library and start that. I won't start the first lecture they give you. That's on hold. You don't have to worry like you're gonna miss it. It's one of those games. We know as of this recording, learning about like Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, for example. It's pretty obvious when something happens there. It's become very obvious that game has so much free will and is truly open world. The point that I assume when someone tells you, well, at this time this happens, you better be there at this time, because it's not like this. Like this, you could skip this. Literally, like they say, oh, right over here is a lecture going on. It is literally frozen until you go over there. It's kind of like time is frozen over there. I'm not doing the guilds until I do them all together. So I want to get the main quest done first. And that's when you go up to the library here, and then that's when we start learning about this stuff. And there's going to be plenty, there's plenty of time to space this stuff out.
I'm simply trying to understand the reasoning behind the decision.
You may be used to the Empire bowing to your every whim, but I'm afraid you'll find that Thalmor received no such treatment here. You are a guest of the college, here at the pleasure of the Archmage. I hope you appreciate the opportunity.
Yes, of course. The Archmage has my thanks.
Very good. Then we're done here. Welcome to the college. Another new student. I'm surprised at how many of you there are lately. Well, first you'll need these. While you're not required to wear them, you may find them more to your liking than your current clothes. I'll give you a brief tour, and then we'll get you to your first class. Are you ready to begin? Wonderful. Please follow me, and don't wander off. The College of Winterhold has been a fixture in Skyrim for thousands of years. The prominent feature here is the Hall of the Elements. It's our primary location for lectures, practice sessions, and general meetings. The Arcanium is located above the hall, and the Archmage's quarters above that. While technically in charge of the college, the Archmage's responsibilities often keep him occupied. Thus, I run the day-to-day operations. Now, if you'll please follow me, I'll show you the living quarters. Unfortunately, we've had to implement more stringent entry procedures due to some problems with the local Nords. We don't anticipate any real violence, but it never hurts to be prepared. Our newest members are housed here, in the Hall of Attainment. I'll ask that you please keep your voice down while inside, as others may be working on research or delicate experiments. Now I'll show you to your quarters. You're going to be sharing space with your fellow apprentices, who you'll meet shortly. This is where you'll be staying.
Yeah, I kind of regretted doing that whole tour thing.
Please try and be considerate of others.
I wanted to do it somehow because I wasn't sure if you skip it, that she ever gives you that tour again. I really do like the college. I think it's a great addition to the game, and and I just, but at the time while I'm actually doing this recording, I'm kind of like, oh boy.
Initially, you'll be learning
I
from
talk
Tifa,
about
one of
time
our most
sink,
esteemed
like, oh
wizards.
boy, I kind of regretted doing this. I was like, she really walks really slow. Oh, I had to zoom through that footage because oh wow, that would take a good 5 minutes just to get through that. Oh boy, yeah. So yeah, once you get up those stairs, you can finally go start getting some information about the Elder Scroll, and I think I do allow I kind of, there's a section where there's
Tolkien is
some
likely
books
already
and
a
stuff.
prisoner in
I
your
tried to turn the
campuses.
pages
Go
slowly
on
so
in,
the
and if you
player,
have any problems,
if you're
let one of our
watching this,
senior
if you want
members
to
know.
read it, you can, or just zoom through the footage or something.
What you learn here will last you a lifetime. Several if you're talented.
You are now in the Arcanium, of which I am in charge. It might as well be my own little plane of oblivion. Disrupt my Arcanium, and I will have you torn apart by angry Atronachs. Now, do you require assistance? A mage is only as good as what he knows. I try to make sure as much knowledge is available as possible. We've been keeping this collection since the Second Era. Books have come and gone during that time, but it's mostly intact. And what do you plan to
This is
do
another
with
one
it?
of those
Do
moments
you
where
even know what
the
you're
player
asking
doesn't
about?
feel like the
Or are you
Dragonborn.
just
He's
someone's
basically
errand
being
boy?
told he's just an errand boy. But if you think about most video games, or isn't that the way it works? Like as the player
You think that
yourself, you
even if
don't
I
really
did
know
have one
anything.
here, I
And
would let you
and
see it?
so
It would be kept under the highest
Archetype
security.
A tells
The
you need
greatest
to
thief
go
in the
to
world wouldn't be able
this
to lay a
this
finger
point.
on it.
You go there, and then you do that
What
point, and
about
then
it?
you do this, and you
Wait,
sort of ping
are
pong
you?
off until
Were you the one the
eventually
Greybirds were calling?
you
I'll
win the
bring
game,
everything
right?
we
I
have
mean,
on
that's
them,
kind of the way it
but it's not
works. I
much.
mean, yeah,
So don't get
you're
your
not an
hopes up.
errand
It's
boy.
mostly lies,
That's
leavened
the
with
way it
rumor and
works.
conjecture. Fight well. Huh? Here you go. Try not to spill any. On them. I don't want to see you treating any of these books poorly. Are we clear? Aye, that's the work of Septimus Cygnus. He's the world's master of the nature of Elder Scrolls, but, well, he's been gone for a long while. Too long. Somewhere up north, in the ice fields. He said he found some old Dwemer artifact, but well, that was years ago. Haven't heard from him since.
What you learn? It's no secret that the college's reputation in Skyrim is tainted.
Now we are heading towards this sort of crazy old man in an ice cave to get information about where the Elder Scroll is. It's actually located in a underground cave known as the Black Marsh, and it's like all underground. It's very beautiful looking underneath, and and it's quite a quest actually.
Dig, Dwemer in the beyond. I'll know your lost unknown and rise to your depths. When the top
Yeah,
level
this
was
guy
built,
talks to you for
no
a
more could
very
be
long
praised.
time,
It was
and I mean,
maximal
I
apex.
thought Arthanax talked to you a
The
long
ice
time.
entombs the heart.
This guy goes on and
Obey
on
the
and on.
Patronac and dig
So if
over.
you're,
To
it depends on
harness it
how deep
is
you
to
want to get into
know
the main quest.
the
I
fundaments.
mean, this
The
guy will
Dwemer
kind of talk your
lockbox
ear off a
hides it
bit.
from me. The Elder Scroll gives insight deeper than the deep ones, though, to bring about the opening. I have seen enough to know their fabric, the warp of air, the weft of time. But no, it is not in my possession. Here. Well, here as in this plane. Mundus, Tamriel, nearby, relatively speaking. On the cosmological scale, well, it's all nearby. One block lifts the other. Septimus will give what you want, but you must bring him something in return. You see this masterwork of the Dwemer, deep inside their greatest knowings. Septimus is clever among men, but he is but an idiot child compared to the dullest of the Dwemer. Lucky then they left behind their own way of reading the Elder Scrolls. In the depths of Black Reach, one yet lies. Have you heard of Black Reach? Cast upon where Drimmer's city slept, the yearning spire hidden learnings kept. Under deep, below the dark, the hidden keep, Tower Mzark. Of Tand, the point of puncture, of first entry of the tapping. Delve to its limits, and Black Reach lies just beyond. But not all can enter there. Only Septimus knows the hidden key to loose the lock, to jump beneath the deathly rock. Two things I have for you. Two shapes. One edged, one round. The round one for tuning. Dwemer music is soft and subtle, and needed to open their cleverest gates. The edged lexicon for inscribing. To us, a hunk of metal. To the Dwemer, a full library of knowings, but empty. Find Mzark and its sky dome. The machinations there will read the scroll and lay the lore upon the cube. Trust Septimus. He knows you can know. The deepest doors of Dwemer listen for singing. It plays the attitude of notes proper for opening. Can you not hear it? Too low for hearings? To glimpse the world inside an Elder Scroll can damage the eyes or the mind, as it has to Septimus. The Dwemer found a loophole, as they always do, to focus the knowledge away and inside without harm. Place the lexicon into their contraption, and focus the knowings into it. When it brims with glow, bring it back, and Septimus can read once more. Ooh, an observant one. How clever to ask of Septimus. This Dwemer lockbox. Look upon it and wonder. Inside is the heart of a god, the heart of you and me. But it was hidden away, not by the dwarves, you see. They were already gone. Someone else, unseen, unknown, found the heart, and with a flair for the ironical, used dwarven trickery to lock it away. The scroll will give the deep vision needed to open it. For not even the strongest machinations of the Dwemer can hold off the all-sight given by an Elder Scroll. You look to your left, you see one way. You look to your right, you see another. But neither is any harder than the opposite. But the Elder Scrolls, they look left and right in the stream of time. The future and past are as one. Sometimes they even look up. What do they see then? What if they dive in? Then the madness begins. Dig, Dwemer in the beyond. I'll know your lost unknown and rise to your depths.
Yeah, so Black Reach, it's an underground cavern. I originally said Black Marsh, but you know, it's like whatever, you know. But Black Reach is you know, it's a very interesting cavern. The Falmer, not the Falmor, the Falmer, can hit a little harder depending on your difficulty. I usually, now with this I went with easy. You know, I was just trying to kind of make the main quest not be like 20 parts. I wanted to fairly make this kind of fast and just focus on the story. But even so, the Falmor can still fight. You know, they can hit you a little harder. You got some of that one kind of insect down there. Higher difficulties. He hits really hard. I would recommend working on some skills before you get to this point. Work on your heavy armor. You know, one-handed. Yeah, it looks like we got a free horse here. Yeah, just this horse just whoever was riding it is just kind of abandoned. Yeah, horses are pretty good to use in Skyrim sometimes if you just want to like walk up a mountain wall for no reason, you know. Generally, I don't. I have it's probably a little bit of an autistic thing with me. Like I don't like in Bethesda games anything third person. It just looks bad for some reason. Even with Starfield, it looks a little better in Starfield than it ever did before, but it's just not a Bethesda thing. I just like first person. I just like to feel like I'm in there and it's me, you know? I've been playing third person games for years on the PlayStation and PlayStation 2 and all that stuff. I just Bethesda just doesn't do third person games. Yeah, it doesn't look right. So a recap of what this whole episode is. It's we are trying to get a Elder Scroll. So what you do is you go to the little college of Winterhold. You go to the college of Winterhold. You get information to go to a guy up north who is doing an expedition of some kind of like artifact, and there's a separate quest there if you'll want to. I felt that quest was a little demonic, a little dark, kind of crazy, but that's a separate thing that has nothing to do with the main quest. so what happens is he tells you we have to go to this area called the Black Reach, which is a vast cavern system with Falmer and uh, all kinds of like traps and stuff like that. And so you'll make your way there. You'll make your way there, and you gotta, it's not going to be all fast travel. You're going to have to basically climb up, do a lot of mountain climbing and rock climbing, get up there. A lot of, in Bethesda games, especially if getting up mountains, what you have to do. You got to kind of work your way up there, and once you finally find the entrance, and then that's it. Then you start to work your way down, and there will be a puzzle eventually in time. There is a puzzle by the end, and then you'll see by the end of this video, that there is a puzzle. And quite honestly, I hadn't done this puzzle since the game officially came out. I was kind of like, what? You need to understand something. I don't really use a smartphone very much, and I probably could have looked this up on a separate device, but I had no separate devices. This was on I was playing this on my main computer at the time, and so when I did this puzzle, I just had to guess it, and it just kind of worked. That's always great in life when things just work and you don't end up having to look like DSP or something. That you actually what you're doing is actually working, and that's a good thing. So yeah, so if you unlock that puzzle, you're going to get an Elder Scroll, and then that means that by the end of the video you'll see I make it back to Parthenax, and that's when the video will end. And that's the overall video recap. I'm doing this recap because there's going to be a lot of dead air on this video. There's just not a lot to be said because there's a lot of travel. With the other videos, there's a lot more commentary, especially the last video, because you're dealing with a lot of more social quests. You're dealing with the blades, the graybeards. There's a lot to be said. There's a lot of things, but when you're dealing with just this sort of dungeon exploring stuff, there's not a lot to be said. I mean, unless you're dealing with a puzzle, and that's when I need to kind of talk a little bit about that. But there isn't really much to be said for a great deal of the video, and so I just thought, well, you know what, I'll throw this extra recap in there, and so it's not like there isn't any, there's too much dead air. At least it's like on and off. That's the way it is, and that should be it. I mean, there probably is going to be other things you'll see too, because when I'm doing this recap, I haven't like fully watched the video all 2 hours, but I can now remember fully that this is mostly about Black Reach, and there is other stuff in there. I mean, I didn't go through the whole Black Reach. There's a Crimson Root you can find, and that's a separate quest, but that has nothing to do with the main quest, and you're not bound by it. But of course, the goal is the science would be to eventually try to go back and finish that quest, and so there is a reason to return to Black Reach someday. I still am not entirely 100% sure if I am going to 100% this game. I think I might even be just happy enough to finish some of the bigger stuff, like the guilds and the Civil War and stuff, because once the main quest is done, you don't really need to, I mean, once that's done, the expansions, obviously I would want to do other projects in time, so that's about it. That should be enough commentary for this little recap here, and I'll chime in when needed.
another of the smooth skins looking for food? This one wasn't trapped with us. You're through! Easily. What do you need? Anything else?
Yeah, to kind of recap about this area. This area, first you deal with sort of like these ice caves. Then you deal with a Dwemer temple, Dwemer civilization, and then finally you get into the Black Reach. You know, with the well, you could argue before the Black Reach is really more like the Felmer sort of like realms and stuff, and you know, like the ice caves and stuff, and then finally you get into the Black Reach, and you know, this just takes a while. I mean, this isn't like something you're going to storm through really quick. I mean, really, and this is not the biggest dungeon actually. The biggest is when you start doing the Dawn Guard. There's a dungeon they have that kind of takes up a great deal of the Skyrim territory. I can't remember what the name of it is, but even that cave is really nice and impressive and really cool. The one thing I could say about Skyrim that you take for granted. This is a time still when companions are fairly quiet. They might say, "Ooh, this is a nice cave." You know what I mean? Something small like that. They don't get in your way. They don't say, "Why did you do that? I'm really upset. I need my safe place. I need to cry for a bit." I mean, there's none of that. Like same thing with Oblivion. Even though Oblivion isn't supposed to have companions, there's ways to do it. There's ways to get companions. Because there's escort quests, so you can basically not have to like actually deliver a person to an area. You could just keep them as a companion, and then you have a. You could. I've literally had 6 people in Oblivion as a little army. A little fellowship. But back to this game. The reason why you should feel really privileged to have a companion that just keeps to himself and just lets you do everything. They're just an extra, a weapon basically. They're just basically a backup weapon, basically. In Starfield, you're gonna really miss this. Starfield, they'll guilt trip you. But it depends on the companion. I hate to talk about Starfield. Clearly, I've played a lot of it. But I have to say, but this is a Bethesda game. I can talk about other games from their line. The problem with Starfield is that there are a lot of companions that simply have way too much of a conscience, and they constantly will say, "Why did you take out that pirate?" Or well, pirates are just trying to make a living. Do we need to get into some kind of political debate in a video game? With DEI and stuff. I mean, first off, they're bandits, so it's all about self-defense, buddy. Yeah, but I mean, I guess in Starfield, if you wanted to have a companion that's more like the old days, you either go with the robot or you either go with the adoring fan. But the reason I'm just bringing that up is because it makes you appreciate how this guy here, this is just a bard from Whiterun. He is it Whiterun? Yeah, the small town is Whiterun. I always keep getting the names confused of the cities, because they all incorporate winter most of the time, and it's not like they're called Snowforge or something like that. It's actually quite shocking. There isn't a town or city called Snowforge. Um, but just to get to the point is these companions, they keep quiet. They will never bother you about your decisions. They just go with it. The problem with the Starfield companions is they're very double minded. They're very double minded, very two faced. They'll say, "Well, I am upset. I can't believe you would do that. I can't believe it." And then all of a sudden, if accidentally a stray bullet or whatever hits you or hits the companion from one, they will start taking out civilians. They'll take out civilians. They become machines of destruction, and it's because logically their logic, their consciousness is separate from the actual character you see on the screen. The character on the screen is actually the same character you'd see in Skyrim. They don't really care. They just follow you around. They carry your stuff, and then they shoot things. Okay, so that's basically enough of a rant alone on that. Just kind of enjoy the silence. You know, while you can. I'm sure by Elder Scrolls 6, it's not going to get better. They're pretty much, you're going to have to probably start treating your companions almost like pets or Tamagotchi pets or something in the future. You're gonna have to feed them. You're gonna have to give them long pets and say little pep talks, lots of little pep talks that build them up and stuff. Like, oh, please no, Bethesda, don't go there.
By the 9.
get out of here. Hasn't there been enough deaths?
Of course you want me to leave. Just waiting for me to turn my back, so you can have all the glory for yourself.
Hello? Who's there? Guess it's all clear now. What was that? Do your worst.
And finally into Black Reach. Took a while. There was kind of a boss back there with that one Dwelmer robot. That was probably the closest thing you could get to a boss. This dungeon does actually have a dragon, but it's like a bone dragon, and it's not part of the main quest. Meaning, like, you won't really run into it unless you're really wanting to unlock it. It's a separate puzzle that's different from the rest of the dungeon. You can see there's a giant container up top, and that container holds the bone dragon. And then, I never battled that. It just never really bothered. Yeah, and then eventually, once you get through Black Reach, that's when you head with you get to the puzzle where you're just gonna kind of like from right to left open up different like containers, and you know how you mess around with the puzzle is gonna open these things up. It was just totally a guessing game on my part.
Afraid of stenches while you...
And finally, this strange puzzle. When you go up these stairs, there is a strange puzzle where you have to kind of mess around with the settings. And first, I wasn't sure I could get this right, and as you can see, I just kind of messed around, and that's always the worst case scenario when you have to just kind of press things and make guesses. And man, I don't want to do that. You know, of course, most of the time you'd be amazed about how many puzzles are more like they're more like hidden in plain sight. Like literally, the answer is right there, but there's so many things around you that it's like it's like your ADHD is just like going off the scale, and you're totally missing something. You know, so yeah, I got through this, and I'm really happy. Because I was like, oh boy, I hope I don't have to. You would be embarrassing. I mean, because I screen capture this stuff, you know, so I would have to. You would be literally seeing me pulling up Bing and have to look that up, you know, and that would be embarrassing. And well, thankfully that didn't happen. And this is finally the end of this episode. It has been a very long episode. Last episode was like this one as well. Next, as you can see, we'll be against Aldwin and get to learn finally the dragon shout to ground the dragons and start to get closer to getting the main quest done. The next part will not be the last part of that, but it will be the next to last part. Um, well, I'll see you then. About Sadringrad Productions. Welcome to Sadringrad Productions. Founded in 2006, we specialize in spirituality books, comic books, and old public domain books that have long been forgotten. We also have done artwork for war history books and fiction-based works. We recommend our Ethiopic Holy Bible Volume 1 that is quite popular and attempts to bring the books of Enoch back into the Bible's list of books. The Ethiopic Holy Bible Volume 1 also has a few selections from Josephus, a Jewish historian, and also the book has Jubilees and the Apocrypha, which is also available in Catholic Bibles. Now available is our SLV Holy Bible, Sadringrad Literal Version, that uses Sir Lancelot Breton's English Septuagint for the Old Testament and Young's Literal Version with some KJV/Douay Rheims verses for the New Testament. It features an Apocrypha with books never seen in the Bible. The books within the Apocrypha are not canon and are here for historical reasons. This Bible has the words of Christ in red.